Nadia Murad, you have the floor.
Today is the 6th anniversary of the Yazidi genocide. For many of you, the concept of an active genocide may not make sense. But my community has lived this horrific experience for the past 6 years. The Yazidis were living peacefully before ISIS came to destroy our lives. We were farmers and lived a simple life. But when ISIS launched their genocidal campaign, my entire family was shattered. I lost my beloved mother, nieces, and 6 brothers. The rest of my family and I were taken into ISIS captivity. My story is not unique. It is the story of thousands of Yazidi women and girls who were kidnapped into sexual slavery. Families who survived were forced to flee. Our homes, schools, hospitals, and temples were burned. Yazidi girls as young as 8 and 9 years old were used as sex slaves. Some have survived, but they continue to suffer from a lack of access to healthcare and rehabilitation. Yazidi children and survivors of sexual violence deserve better care. As we speak, there are over 2,800 Yazidi women and children who are still missing and in captivity. No collective action has been taken to search for and rescue those women and children. The world watched in outrage and demanded that tangible action be taken to end the genocide. But 6 years later, the international community has failed to keep its commitment to protect those most vulnerable, especially women and children. Today, Yazidis are traumatized, especially the women and children who survived ISIS captivity. They either remain displaced in IDP camps or have returned to their villages, which lack the most basic services. The 100,000 Yazidis who have returned to their homes in Sinjar suffer from a lack of healthcare, education, clean water, and security. Dozens of mass graves have yet to be exhumed. Survivors continue to await justice and accountability, while desperately wanting to properly bury their loved ones. How can the community heal and return while dozens of mass graves have not been exhumed? We must pursue justice and accountability by collecting evidence and putting ISIS perpetrators on trial. As my lawyer and good friend Amal Clooney, who has been a tireless advocate on behalf of the Yazidi survivors, has explained and will discuss further in her speech today. Both Amal and I argued that the UN should establish an international investigation in Iraq. I am grateful that Iraq and the Security Council supported this motion, and I commend UNITED and Mr. Karim Khan for the work it has done so far. But an investigation is not a trial, and we want our day in court. The international community must fulfill its promise to deliver justice for the Yazidi community. The situation is exacerbated by the uncertainty over which government will control Sinjar. As a result of this dispute, both national governments refuse to invest resources in repairing infrastructure, and housing in Sinjar. While some international organizations invest in other regions of Iraq, Sinjar is often left behind and continues to regress without long-term investment. We have pleaded with government officials in Baghdad and Erbil to resolve their disputes and help the Yazidis restore their lives. We have pleaded for them to create a task force to search for and rescue the missing Yazidi women and children. We have pleaded with the governments in Baghdad and Erbil, as well as the international community, to rebuild the Yazidi homeland and seek justice for survivors. But after so many years of waiting and enduring the effects of genocide, we feel that the international community and the governments in Baghdad and Erbil have abandoned us. We must do better. We must not let another year go by accepting the status quo. The status quo is destroying my community. International inaction is enabling ISIS to accomplish their goal of eradicating the Yazidis from Iraq. We recognize that both Baghdad and Erbil are facing economic challenges and difficulties related to the COVID-19. But there are tangible and sustainable actions that can be taken to address the effects of genocide on the Yazidi community. Once again, I call on the governments in Iraq and Erbil to search for and rescue those still missing, to resolve issues of local governance and security in Sinjar, and to invest in the redevelopment of the region. Ignoring the suffering of Yazidis is unacceptable. The international community must not defer meaningful action any longer. Yazidis deserve support to rebuild. Yazidis deserve peace and security. They deserve justice and accountability. Survivors cannot wait another 6 years for the world to act. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nadia, for your moving words.